This mind parasite has been created and fitted in your brain to prevent you from being successful. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what it is, how it works, and how to prevent it, how to work with this parasite to have it under control. Now, the biggest thing is that this parasite does not work alone. It has 5 commanders. There's like 5 different ways that this parasite utilizes to show up in your life and prevent you from taking over, from taking charge of what you want to accomplish. And throughout this video, I'm going to be walking you through those 5 commanders of this mind parasite so you know exactly what they are and how to deal with them, how to take control and not allow them to run your decisions, to run your actions so that you actually can be in the best position possible to achieve your goals. Let's get into it. Now, what is this mind parasite? It's fear, straight fear. Fear is the biggest thing that kills people momentum, that prevents people from being successful. The thing is that it doesn't show up as fear, right? It shows up as doubt and uncertainty. That's how it shows up, like a little crack that start conditioning your way of thinking, then your feelings, and then your actions. Fear is there to prevent you from getting outside of your comfort zone. It's there to keep you fitted, to keep you alive, to keep you breathing. Is the primal part of your brain not wanting to have to deal with anything that is unknown outside of your comfort zone. And here's the dichotomy. Where does change happens? Where does growth happens? Where does evolution happens? It happens outside of your comfort zone. It happens in the discomfort zone. It happens in the unknown. It happens outside of what's already known, because if what you need was already in the known, in what you have, in what you already know to be true, you would have already got there. You were already being where you want to be. The reason why you are not where you want to be is because you haven't explored that uncharted territory, that unknown territory, that discomfort territory, and that is what change is. So the way it works is very simple. You have a goal, you have a vision, and the moment you start to strive for something that is outside of your comfort zone, then those thoughts come. If you, for example, are in a situation where you've already developed your vision, you've already developed those goals, and now it's time to take action, the moment you're about to take action, this is going to kick in. Self-doubt, uncertainty. What if it doesn't work? This, and that. And that starts as an inner conversation that gets into your body, that releases chemicals and puts you in an emotion that is specifically designed to prevent you from taking that action, and so on and so forth. So how do we break that cycle? There are 3 main steps that you need to master and you need to apply every time any of these 5 commanders of fear kicks in. Step number 1 is awareness. Awareness when it comes to understanding what fear is, what fear means. And we've already covered that. Fear is just there to quote unquote protect you. It's your primal part of your brain not wanting you to go outside. So that's great. Now, the thing is, you need to be able to catch yourself having those thoughts, because everything starts with that inner voice in your mind. Okay, so you need to be able to catch. So you have to turn on this radar. All right, this is an exercise. You will develop this. One of the biggest ways, or one of the most useful ways I found to be able to catch this is by saying to myself, I'm having the thought of, or I'm having a thought that says X. That's what we call separation. You're separating yourself between the thought and yourself. You're not your thoughts. That's very important for you to understand. So when you catch yourself, you say to yourself, I'm having the thought of, or I'm having a thought that says, what if it doesn't work? Whatever that might be. And that way you create separation, you create awareness. Oh, this is my fears. This is uncertainty. This is doubt. Number 2 is utility. After step number 1, awareness and understanding what fear is, now we get into number 2, which is utility. What is the utility of this sequence of thoughts? So we start to question the utility of the thoughts. Not whether the thoughts are true or not, right or wrong. It's how useful this is when it comes to giving myself what I need to achieve my goals. Utility. There's one big hack that the most successful people use, consciously or unconsciously, which is instead of asking the utility of the thought, they've hacked definition of that physiological chemical reaction in their brain as well. They've hacked it and they've rewired the meaning from fear to excitement. So if you can do that, that is amazing. So if you can train and reprogram your brain, so every time you feel this, you redefine the meaning for excitement, that's what most successful people do. So that way they get excited, because the reality is that the physiological reaction of fear and excitement is the exact same. It's the exact same chemical reaction. The only difference is the meaning associated, is the reframing. Some people associate it as fear, so then they just backpedal. Other people associate it to excitement, so then they go because they're excited. It's like a positive thing. So that's how they hack the utility. And then step number 3 is visualization. Visualization is the tool that we're going to leverage to go from something that is not useful to a thought sequence that is useful. Okay, very simple. The way we utilize visualization is by stepping into our higher self. That's one of the biggest ways, into our superior self, and start to take thoughts and energy from that place, bringing it to this place. So think about the person you want to become. Think about the type of life you want to have. And then think about how that person will need to think, behave, and react. What kind of thought patterns will that person need to display to be able to have that type of life? And then just bring that way of thinking, bring that energy. That's what I was talking about, energy spectrum. Because also think about the energy that you want to vibrate in when you have the type of life that you want to achieve. What are those emotions? Emotions, energy, emotions is courage, is confidence, is certainty, is clarity, is ease, is peace of mind. Those emotions, right? Bring those emotions and bring that frequency of energy to this moment. And then you will see the contrast. Very simple, very easy. Because when you're coming or you're stepping into a state of fear, you will recognize the frequency, the energy. And you will be able to see it's fear. You will be able to see this is not useful. So what are either the thoughts, the thought pattern, or the feelings that I need to feed, that I need to replace right now? What do I need? What do I need the conversation to be about in these moments, so that can be practical, so it can be useful, so that I can get into my state and that can help me make the right decisions from a place of certainty and from a place of clarity, because everything starts in your thoughts. And let's do an exercise. I want to share with you an exercise that's going to demonstrate this, because instead of me telling you, I'm going to show it to you. So in order for this exercise to work, you're going to have to follow these steps. Okay? If you don't follow these steps, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate this to you. So the first step is I need you to close your eyes. I need you to do that and focus on my voice and follow the steps that I'm going to say. It's going to be an imaginary visualization exercise. Okay? I want you to imagine yourself in the kitchen. You're in the kitchen, you're going into the fridge, you're opening the fridge, and all you see is one big lemon. That's all it is there, okay? It's a perfect lemon, it's a big one. You take the lemon, and as you take it, you notice it's a little bit cold, okay? You close the refrigerator, and then with the lemon in your hand, you take your lemon to distance of your nose, and you smell the lemon, and it smells like a lemon, okay? It looks like a lemon, it smells like a lemon. You go, you take a knife, and you cut the lemon in half. As you cut the lemon in half, you see a little drops, a little juice just, coming. You take one half and you put it again into your nose and you smell it, and the smell is stronger, right? It smells like a lemon. Then you go a little bit down and now you bite it. You bite the lemon and you feel all the texture and all the liquid coming into your mouth. Sort of like in everything, and all the smell and everything starts to get into the entirety of your mouth. And all that flavor and all that texture starts to get into every single corner of your mouth. All right? You can feel it, you can sense it. It's very powerful. All right? And then right after that, you just put the lemon back into the counter. And now you open your eyes. Okay? That is the exercise. If you follow this exercise correctly, your mouth should be watering right now, at least a little bit, at least just a little bit. And this is a demonstration because you don't have a lemon in front of you. This is the power of your thoughts. Your thoughts controls your emotions. Your emotions activate certain decisions, conscious or unconscious, because your body just decided to salivate right now. It was an unconscious decision, but you also have conscious decisions. But your body decided to generate a chemical reaction because something that started with your thoughts. And that is the power of visualization. So you utilize visualization after realizing thought pattern that is not practical, and you make it not only practical, but you make it empowering so that you can take the next step. Now that we've covered the formula, awareness, utility, and visualization, now I want to introduce you to those 5 enemies so you know exactly where they are, you can spot it, and then you know exactly how to deal with them, okay? With more specific strategies. So let's get into it. So fear commander number 1 is what we call fear from the vehicle. When you are trying to achieve something you never achieved before, you're going to have to utilize vehicles and tools that you never used before. And a lot of times, the fear comes from the tool, from the vehicle. If you've never hopped into a plane, a lot of the times the fear comes from, what is that big thing? Never been in a plane, I've never been in an aircraft, I'm afraid of the thing, okay? That is the fear from the vehicle. And that can be with an aircraft, it can be working with a new professional, it can be utilizing a new tool. But this one is the easiest one to be able to overcome. You just need to do what's called research. You just need to inform yourself about the tool, about the vehicle, about the person. Very, very simple. And you don't need to do like a 5-hour research. You just need to get clarity on 3 main things. Number 1, is this a trustworthy source? Is this a trustworthy source? And by just going into the internet, documenting yourself, you will see if it's trustworthy or not. Number 2, is there proof that it works for others? Is there proof that this tool, this vehicle, this professional has been able to help other people in a similar situation than me? And if it's not, red flag. If it is, good. Number 3 is this vehicle suitable for me based on my needs and what I'm looking for? If it checks those 3 boxes, boom, now the fear dissipates. Fear number 2 is fear from the past. Fear from bad experiences in the past. And that happens constantly. Relationships, in different experiences. For example, a person that had a bad toxic relationship in the past and now all of a sudden believes that every man or every woman out there are toxic. Right? Now, where does this happen? Where we have fear from the past? Very simple. Because of a not smart or properly use of memory. What is memory? What is the purpose of memory, better saying? The purpose of memory is to collect information, data, and experiences from the past so that we can structure the future. The purpose of memory is learning. If we don't learn from the past, we cannot grow. And the people that don't use memory the right way, or the species that don't use memory the right way, they extinguish. They disappear because they don't evolve. They're not able to progress. And that happens a lot. And it's in the sense that we have about experience and we don't know how to extract the lesson from the past, and then that bad experience keeps repeating. And I'm here to show you exactly how to sort of like break that pattern. The main reason why this happens is because there's like a fork in the road when you have a bad experience in the past. You either cast meaning to the object or you cast meaning to the behavior or interaction with the object. And I'm going to put you an example. If you have 5 years old and you put your hand in the electric hub in the kitchen and you burn your hand, you had a bad experience, right? You just had a bad experience. You just burn your hand. Now, your brain is going to do one of these 2 things. It's going to either cast meaning to the object, to the person, to the vehicle, or it's going to cast meaning to the interaction with it. Casting meaning to the object, it's literally saying, okay, electric hubs are dangerous. Electric hubs, all they want is hurt me. All they want to do is hurt me. I am casting meaning to the object. Electric hubs, they want to kill me. They want to hurt me. Okay? Same with the bad past experience in the past. Is we're casting meaning to the object. The other option is casting meaning to the interaction and the behavior with the object, saying, if I put my naked hand directly into the electric hub, I'm gonna get burned. So I'm not going to do that behavior again. It's not that the electric hub wants to kill me, wants to hurt me. It's that this behavior, interacting with the electric hub this way, is not useful for me. You see the difference? Another example that I can give you is, imagine you go to a new restaurant and you have a bad experience. Does that mean that you're never going to visit the new restaurant again in the future? No, right? That doesn't make any sense. It will be casting the meaning to the object. Is the interaction with the object. So what I didn't do, or what should I learn from the past experience to make sure that the next time my interaction with the object is better, so the outcome can be better. Or maybe I follow the advice of someone that has never been there. Or maybe I didn't check them out, or whatever that might be, right? It's like, is the interaction, is the behavior with the object, not the object itself. the majority of the times, if you utilize this technique to understand what is it that I did in my interaction with the object or with that experience that I need to learn from so that I can have better experiences. Because oftentimes, the majority of the times is not the object, is the interaction with the object. And also thinking, what is the alternative? In this restaurant example, does that mean that I'm not going to visit any new restaurant anymore? Right? Or the same with a car accident. If you have a car accident, does that mean that you're never going to drive by car anymore? Right? That would be too radical. Does that mean that cars are bad? Right? No, it's my interaction with the car. What did I do that I need to learn so the next time when I hop on a car, I put myself in the best position so that I don't repeat this again. Now let's go into our third fear commander, which is fear from the future. Fear from the unknown. This is a very, very common one. And here's the thing. The future is unknown. Nobody can predict the future. It doesn't matter what you hear, doesn't matter what they tell you. That is the nature of the future, okay? And the next thing is that we cannot control the outcome. We cannot control what's going to happen. So trying to hold into something that we don't have control into is completely useless and is not going to help us in any way, shape, or form. Now, that being said, we cannot predict the future. We cannot fully control what's going to happen, but we can influence it. We can influence it with two things. Number one is our perspective, is our framing of the future. Because if we straight believe that the future is negative, the future, the unknown is a bad thing, do you feel that there's going to ever be a possibility where you step outside of your comfort zone? Definitely not. So how do you frame the future knowing that it's unknown, knowing that nobody can predict that, but also at the same time knowing that that's where the magic happens, that's where evolution, growth, and opportunities happens, helps a lot with facing the unknown and with being okay with the unknown. So that's number one, is developing the right perspective towards the future when you look at the future. Number two is our actions, because again, we can influence the future. We don't fully control it, but we can influence it. How do we control it? With our perspectives and with our actions. And the key thing when we're making actions towards our futures or when we are making decisions is not about what decision can I make to mitigate 100% of the risk, because that doesn't exist. Nothing in life is guaranteed. The only two things guaranteed is death and taxes. That's it. So it's not about mitigating the risk. It's not about trying to control the future. It's about odds. It's about chances. It's about probabilities. It's what decision puts me in the best position possible to stack the odds in my favor, where it's unreasonable to not achieve the results if I continue to develop and to feed this pattern of behavior and actions. That is the shift. Instead of just being a game of black and white, 100 or 0, everything or nothing, is a spectrum of probabilities. That's how life is all about. Which pattern of thoughts, behaviors, decisions puts me in the best position possible, so when repeated consistently over long periods of time, gives me the best chance of achieving what I want to achieve. Now into fear commander number 4. And that one, oh boy, is very, very common, very popular. It's one of the biggest tools that fear uses to just cast and create uncertainty and doubt from within, and that is self-doubt. There's a quote that I love that says, I'm going to read to you, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. And if we don't have that under control, if we don't learn how to deal with that, how to tame it, it's just constantly going to run our life and constantly be at the mercy of self-doubt. Here's the thing with self-doubt. Whatever you believe to be true, consciously or unconsciously, you will be right, my friend. Because there is a cognitive bias called the confirmation bias. So there's a cognitive bias that we have as humans, where when we have a strong belief of something, consciously or unconsciously, okay, our brain will look for reasons to justify that way of thinking. That's what's called confirmation bias. Okay, so we will look for reasons to believe that we are right based on whatever we believe. That's why I said, whatever you decide, whatever you feel, whatever you believe that is possible or that is not possible, it will be true. Because if you look for reasons to believe why you cannot do something, you will find those reasons. Confirmation bias will make sure that actually happens, and vice versa. If you believe it's possible, you will find reasons to believe you can also do it. And the biggest problem is that that works at a conscious and at a subconscious level. So if you feel that it doesn't matter what you do, it feels super hard, like you're not getting even closer, it might be because at a subconscious level, you don't want to get there, okay? That's just very, very deep stuff, but that's the reality. Now, How do we counteract this? We counteract self-doubt with confidence, with certainty. So instead of feeding a pattern of uncertainty, we feed a pattern of certainty. And there are two main ways to generate, to engineer certainty and confidence. I'm going to walk you through them right now. Number one is an amazing phenomenon called your faith. That's it, my friend. If you have the ability to deploy, to tap into faith, you can engineer tons and tons of amounts of self-confidence. Not everybody can. Why? Because faith is the ability to develop confidence in the absence of evidence. And that is hard. I'm not saying it's easy, okay? Some people can do it, some people cannot do it. But that is one source of confidence and certainty, faith. Believing in yourself when there's no evidence. Okay, is a weird phenomenon. Some people can do it, some people can't. Sometimes it just goes into your, I don't know, biology or DNA. There's some people that they have that ability. And at the beginning of my journey, I have a portion of my certainty was based on faith. Don't ask me why. I have no clue why. But there was a fire inside of me that constantly was telling me, you can do it. In the absence of evidence, I was working in the kitchen 9 hours a day. I had no evidence, yet still there was that voice in my head saying, you can do it. You have the power, you have the potential, you have the capabilities, you can make it happen. That was faith. Now, into the second way, the second source of certainty and confidence. The second source of certainty and confidence is called evidence. Is having evidence as opposed to faith, but there's no evidence, is having evidence that tells you that you can do it, that you can achieve this. Now, when it comes to evidence, there's 3 categories inside of evidence that you can tap into. Number one is social proof, is being able to see other people similar like you achieving that result. And that way, we generate confidence. Well, if they did it, I can do it too. That is one way of evidence that allows you to self-engineer confidence, is by looking that what you're trying to achieve is possible for other people, and then boom, you get more confidence. That works for a lot of people, okay? That's number one. Number two is confidence in yourself in other areas of your life that you're transferring to this area. I'll put you an example. Imagine you're very, very good at a particular sport, let's say basketball, and now you're learning a new sport that also includes a ball. So you go, well, I am good at basketball, okay? So there's some skills that I have there. Pretty sure I can be good at this. Okay, so it's you taking certainty from a different area, a different field, and transferring here. Okay, so imagine you have to do, you're learning, or you have to do something with your hands, but you know you're very good cooking, right? And utilize your hands, you're agile. So then that develops, that helps you transfer confidence. So that is the second type of evidence, is that there's other area in my life that I'm good at this, so therefore I can also be confident enough to at least try this. That's number two. Number three is help from a trusted source. For example, imagine, maybe you don't remember that, but if you know how to ride a bike and you go back into how did you learn how to ride a bike, maybe you were fearful and you didn't have that confidence, but there was someone helping you, maybe your big brother, your father, your uncle. So a lot of times we don't believe we can do it, but we have someone that believes in us and that is there to help us, and then we believe in the belief they have in us. So that is the third one, help from a trusted source, a person that we trust, that we see they believe in us, and that allow us to have more confidence and more certainty. So that is how you beat self-doubt, with either faith or evidence. And instead of evidence, we have those 3 categories. And that way you go from feeling uncertain to feeling certain, and empowers you in a situation, in a place, so that you can take the right action with the right emotion. Now, let's get into our number 5, commander of fear, a different way that fear utilizes, a different commander that fear utilizes, which is number 5. And number 5 is fear from circumstances. And this one, oh boy, this one is a big one as well. When you see people stepping into pointing fingers outside, pointing fingers into external circumstances, is the economy, the currency, the president, is my upbringing, is my environment, is my religion. Those are external circumstances. Is the summer, it's the winter. We're just putting the power, putting the reason why we cannot be successful into something that is external to us, is an external circumstance. And that's what I call people that become victims of their circumstances. And because there's always the fault of external circumstances, they are at the mercy of the circumstances. So if circumstances are difficult, they don't move forward in life. If circumstances are all aligned, they just do some steps. The problem with that is you're never in full control. Where's that coming from? Comes from a lack of taking responsibility. All right, that is the fear commander number 5 that you need to be aware if you really want to be in a situation where you are in the driver's seat and you control your life. Whenever you see pointing external factors, remember, we don't have control over the circumstances. So it's useless. There's nothing we can do about it. And we give away all of our power. The best way to be in a place of certainty, clarity, and groundness is by having this mantra of, if everything that happens is your fault, you have full control. You can do something about it. It puts you in a situation where you are in the driver's seat because no one is coming to save you. Your goals, your vision, your life, in order for that to happen, someone needs to take responsibility. And nobody is going to take responsibility but you. You have to be willing to take that responsibility. Once you step into that place and you say to yourself, hey, everything that happens in my life, everything that happens in my journey is my responsibility, is how I react to it, what do I do about it? Now you've unleashed a beast, which is control. You have full control over everything that happens in your life because now circumstances cannot stop you. So whenever you feel this way, or whenever you catch yourself that way, channel your focus into what you can control. And there are a lot of things you can control: your thoughts, your reactions, and your actions. And if you focus on that, you will unleash this box and this power of being in full control, where you decide what's going to happen and what's the direction you're going to go. And those are those 5 fear commanders. These are the 5 elements that fear utilizes to get into your mind to prevent you from doing what you need to do to be able to step outside of your comfort zone. And if you are able to identify those and you know exactly how to deal with each one, you will be unstoppable. Hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.